Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Nadine M. Patterson. I'm a filmmaker based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm one of the founding members of SIFTMedia 215 Collective. Tonight, we're going to do a workshop called Metaphysical Cinematography, Translating Emotions into Moving Images. So we can talk about some technical details in terms of cameras, lens selection, f-stops, ISOs, but really the bulk of the workshop is looking at the feelings that are involved in cinematography, both of the person holding the camera and then the subjects in front of and also around the camera. So I think one thing that we tend to get hooked up on as independent filmmakers is the gear, like what kind of stuff do you have? Do you have a 4K camera or a 2K camera or a 6K camera or an 8K camera or 12K camera? What kind of light kit do you have? Do you have LED panels? Do you have, whatever? Do you have lower lights? It's like it can go on and on and on. Do you use fluorescence? Do you use tungsten? I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff involved with creating a film image. But at the heart of it, it's all about your brain, your eyes, your heart, your hands, and your feet. Your feet. It's about your feet. And whatever instrument you hold in your hand to make an image. It can be anything as small as a cell phone or as large as a 35mm Panavision camera. The tech doesn't matter. What matters is what's in here, your observational skills, what's in your heart. Are you there to share an experience with the participants? Are you there to create something with the other filmmakers? Or are you there to exploit someone to enrich yourself? Are you there to catch someone in a gotcha moment and catch them as they're breaking down, as they're crying about a very poignant subject to them, for a documentary? Or are you there to collaborate with your subject, with your actor, to transmit an important message, to tell an important story, or to recover a cultural heritage? So what's in here, your intention, what's in your mind and what's in your heart, translates to how you perceive things as they're coming through the camera lens, right? So the intention is everything, I think, in cinematography. What are your intentions? I ask questions, so I just don't talk all the time. So I want to hear from you. Please, what did you observe about how that was shot?
I like the close-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, historically, Black people didn't get close-ups,
Bingo. Yes. Beautiful close-ups. When he goes in on, okay, so what were some of can you describe one of them for me, Alile? One of the close-ups that you really liked, that you thought was interesting.
Well, I like the images of her family. I know they were archival images, but I assume that when you shot it, you zoomed in on those. And for me, to see our people during that time period was very moving.
Yes.
Been omitted, and so that really touched me to see their faces like that.
And one thing that Michael Boyer does, which he uses the phrase massage the canvas or massage the image, so that you don't get the feeling of the camera simply panning. It's a very soft, gentle move. It's a loving touch of the lens, right? It's very loving, the way he goes from the father and he pans over to Mrs. Jones as a little girl. There's a lot of power in that, in the touch. And I prefer that kind of move where the camera operator moves the camera across the image with their hands on a tripod, and the image is of course on an easel. I prefer that to a mechanical move that you might find nowadays, often in post-production. People can pan across an image in post. But to me, you're missing the feeling of a human touch, right? Then I often will reproduce an historic image and I'll tape it up on my wall. And then I will put my camera on my tripod. I'll put it near a window, so I'll have directional light coming across it. It looks even, but it's not quite, so the image isn't flat. And if I choose my image correctly, it'll look like it's the source of the light that's actually in the picture, you know? And then I'll film it on a tripod and I'll pan softly left or right. I might do a rack shot where I move across diagonally, but it's a very loving movement. And again, it comes from my mind, from my body into the camera instrument. And, you know, you can even get that feeling just, you know, holding your cell phone, taking a picture like this. It has a very different feeling. Any other comments about that clip?
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
hi.
This
Hi.
Juan here.
Hi, Juan.
I noticed that there was a correspondence between the faces of all the family members.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, the face was at the middle of the shot. And it gave me the impression that all faces were like within another phase, right?
Yeah.
Like a transcendence between the pictures and the still that gave me the impression to be seen as the all family members, as if they were speaking from the person who you were interviewing.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely carrying the spirit of her family with her. And from the angle, everything from the height of the tripod in relation to her sitting down in her chair, to the angle that he chose, and then looking at the archival images, he's masterful, you know, to have that kind of continuity of proportion, of ratio, of face to frame, you know, that's a master cinematographer. What did you notice about the soundtrack in relation to the images? How did you feel about the voiceover, the music, the ambient in relation to what you saw?
Spot here. I definitely noticed the transition from, like, you know, it was like this consistent drum tempo to a very kind of like chaotic tempo when they started to show some of the violence perpetrated against Black folks. And so that was distinctive. I also just want to name something earlier. Visually, I really like the effect of kind of like 60s and 70s cinematography on how they chose to like design the title page. So like that freeze frame of this motion picture, and then the title comes in, and you're like, yeah, that's, you can see the influence of the time. So yeah.
Yeah. All the films I'm showing you have influenced me deeply in terms of how I cut and how I filmed Moving with the Dreaming, because I was looking at this similar social upheaval, uprising. The main difference is that instead of filming current day protests, I filmed dance, but we incorporated protest footage into that documentary as well. And we use music in a very similar way. So one thing that Lamar taught, he was an instructor at Scribe Video Center. I met him in 1989. So he taught the production course there. And he told us, if you want to get better at being a camera operator, you should learn a martial art form or a dance form. You know, so anyone who's a dancer, if you're a dancer, or if you do capoeira or Tai Chi or Kung Fu or whatever, you have a leg up in terms of camera operation and camera work, because the way your body, especially your feet, the way your feet in relationship to the earth beneath you is very, very important in terms of how you move with the camera and how you move your body, and also how you move through the space, and learning how to be stealthy and almost invisible when you're filming in observational camera mode, when you're doing documentary, is very, very important. You don't want to be heavy footed, you know, with the camera. You want to be ninja-like, literally like a ninja, like a film ninja. You want to almost disappear. And there's a way that you present yourself so that you almost disappear, so that you can film a scene. It's like a way of keeping your energy very close to you. So instead of projecting your energy out, like right now, I'm doing a presentation, I'm projecting my energy outward. When I'm doing a documentary cinematography, I tend to keep my energy closer, like in this field. It's not, it's like,
behind it.
because I don't
And then
want
the painting was alive. She was alive, but she was also painting herself. It was so beautiful. I really thought it was interesting how there was that footage of her reacting to the old images or paintings of the invasion of the colonial conquest, how she was reacting to it. It made me think about how, I mean, I'm still kind of reacting to it and feeling it right now. It just made it so much more real, like as if it's still happening and it hasn't really ever ended. That just blew me away. I'm still thinking about it. I'd like to hear others' thoughts too.
Thank you. Right, let's go to our Philadelphia clip. Now I want to set this up by saying that Tak Fujimoto is an Japanese-American cinematographer. He studied at London Film School, which is my alma mater. I went there in 2003, 2005, and I met him there, and we invited him to the school to do a seminar on cinematography. And he was a DP for Silence of the Lambs, for The Sixth Sense, and for the clip that you're about to see for Philadelphia. In my mind, it's a travesty that he has not been awarded or even nominated for an Academy Award. And it's an oversight, and we need to get him his honorary Academy Award, because his work is breathtaking. The way he made our city look, Philadelphia look, and Philadelphia in The Sixth Sense was simply breathtaking. And he captured those autumnal golden tones. And yes, he shot Beloved as well. Siki Harman is reminding me. I mean, so he knows and loves Philadelphia with a passion. And he's just a phenomenal cinematographer, very, very humble. My new favorite lens is the DZO 20 millimeter to 70 millimeter with a T 2.9 f-stop. That's my favorite lens of the moment, But I encourage people to do as much handheld work as possible so that you too can be steady. It's important to be your own steady cam. And you do it by, again, tucking your elbows into your body. Don't shoot like this, it's gonna be shaky. Put your elbows into your body so it'll be smooth. Everyone, practice with your camera at least once a week. Once a
What do
week,
you
go
do?
out and shoot something.
Just annoy your family and just shoot them all the time?
Sometimes when they're not looking, yes.
Also, don't forget, you told us last Saturday to do our eye exercises too.
Thank you for the reminder, Lois. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.